What's up, guys? Welcome back to Inside Out Precision. Before we get into today's video, as usual, just want to remind you that if you like the new merch, like the hats, this is not one of the shirts, but we got a bunch of shirts and hats at InsideOutPrecision.com. So if you want to support the channel, look good and feel good, shoot good, all the above, head over to InsideOutPrecision.com and cop yourself some merch. So today I got a cool new product. We've been installing a ton of these. This is the new rest from Hamskea. So this is the primer. If you've watched my videos in the past, you know that I'm a huge fan of Hamskea. I've been running the Hybrid Hunter Pro for 2.5 years now, and the Trinity on my target bow, and I absolutely love them. I haven't had any of them fail on me, and this is new to their lineup. So I'll just go into some of the features of this first. So this is the primer. It has a really good price point. You know, it's only $130. The thing that's different about this, like the biggest differences between this and the their high end, like the Hybrid Pro and the Trinity Pro, is that it is not micro adjustable. Now, for those of you who like to tinker a lot with stuff, you know, a micro adjustable rest is nice. If I'm going between like a hunting arrow and then like an indoor target arrow and a outdoor like field arrow or 3D arrow, you know, if you're really into tuning and tinkering with stuff all the time, having that micro adjustability is nice. But if you're like most people, like most of the people that we set up in here, they're going to shoot the same setup for, you know, the local 3D shoots as they are when they're out hunting. So once that rest is set, there's really not a whole lot of need for that micro adjust once you get everything tuned up. It still has all the laser engraved lines on here. So if you are moving it, it's really easy to tell, you know, how far you've moved it. And it's honestly just a really bulletproof, durable rest. It doesn't have, you can't change the spring tension in it like you can on the Hybrid and the Trinity. But again, most people aren't needing to do that. Very rarely do we ever need to change the spring tension, you know, unless we're setting up somebody, you know, like we set up a woman the other day who she's only had like a 24-inch draw length. She's shooting a 600 spine arrow at like 30-some pounds. And there was we couldn't get rid of the tail high tear, and it was just because the spring tension was too heavy in the Hybrid Pro that she had on. So we dropped that spring tension, and the tear came right in. But unless it's a scenario like that, I haven't ever really needed to mess with the spring tension. I've set up a lot of these on shorter draw length, lighter weight, lighter setups in general, and they still tune up really, really well. The second thing you'll notice is the launcher blade here. So it comes with this metal launcher blade. It does come with felt so that your arrow doesn't make noise when you draw back on that. It's a little bit different. You can see that the one side of that whale tail, it's kind of hard to see in the package there, but it's longer than the other. And then the overall length of the launcher is a little bit longer as well. I have run into a couple issues just depending on the bows, like some of the newer Hoyts. The way that their shelf is really curved, and when you install this rest, you know, even when you run it all the way back with this launcher, sometimes that rest will contact that shelf. So on the first run of these, we were actually bending. I'll show you an example here. We had to bend the whale tails up a little bit. I'll try to focus on that rest right there. Come on, focus. Focus on it. Yeah, you can see how we just bent the whale tails a little bit right here. That alleviated the problem. Now, obviously, you don't really want to go bending your brand new rest. It doesn't hurt anything. It doesn't affect how it carries the arrow or anything. So they actually just came out with a prototype launcher, and it's got a little bit shorter arms on it, and it's a little bit shorter itself, and we've not had any issues with those clearing the rest. On top of that, the bolt that it comes with, so this bolt to mount it to your bow right here, this big washer gets in the way of that set screw, and it doesn't allow me to run that rest as far back because I can't get the set screw set when I run that rest all the way back because this washer covers it. So what we've been doing, man, I'm just bumping into everything, is just using, you know, a standard little like button screw that like you would put on like like Whisker biscuits come with them. Most rests come with one like that, and we've been using those, and that allows you to scoot that rest back just an extra, you know, 16th or you know, 3/32 of an inch or something, to where you can actually get that launcher blade to, you know, sit level with the shelf and not contact it at all. So Hamskea, you know, addressed the initial problem with the first run of these by doing so, by making that launcher. So you can kind of see, like on the bow here, it's a lot less bulky than the hybrid and the Trinity. It doesn't stick out quite as far right here. And then another cool feature is, and I think they're going to start putting this on all their rests instead of the spring, is it's got this little rubber rebound dampener. And if you can see there, try and get some light on it, the cord is actually woven through that. The only thing I've seen fail on a Hamskea is when people really crank down on that cord tension. That spring has the potential to break, or it has the potential to like bend, you know. So let's say you're out hunting and you catch it on something and it pulls really hard, it can bend that spring. With this rebound dampener here, it actually, you know, it's got give to it, so you'd have to really crank on this thing. Like this is gonna give way before that cord ever stretches. You can see where I'm running this one. So this is just a demo bow. I actually like to run these all the way down to the limb here, instead of having them in the middle of the string. We noticed a little bit of like a vibration after the shot when they were kind of right in the middle like that, but by running it further down, we never had that same sensation. So like I said, it's a little more bare bones. Any archer in the field, like people are always worried about, you know, cord stretching and whatnot in the field. You always need to have a set of Allens with you. I mean, that's like, if you're a bow hunter, not going into the field with an Allen wrench is like, you know, somebody backpacking without a first aid kit. Like you just shouldn't do it. It's not a good idea. So really, as long as you have a set of Allen wrenches, even if you notice that maybe this rest, like let's say you're sitting there eating lunch and you notice that this rest has picked up a little bit like that, all you need is a little Allen wrench. You loosen that cord or loosen that screw right there, cinch that sucker down, and you're good to go again. So like I said, we've been installing a lot of these. They're simple, they're easy to install. You know, they come, you've got all the accessories there to put them together. They come like that. It's just a really, really easy rest. And like Hamskea, you know, I haven't seen anything mechanically with the rest fail. I will say, like any cord, you know, if you can try to pre-stretch this a little bit, it's a good thing. Lots of times with limb drivens, you know, you cinch them down and then after 50, 60, 100 shots, whatever, you look and that cord has stretched a little bit and that rest might not be seated all the way. But generally once you cinch it again, it should never move. And we've kind of noticed that with this, you know, this rubber is going to stretch a little bit. This cord might stretch a little bit. But for the most part, it's a really solid system. You know, I don't know a lot of people who are throwing a rest on and then, you know, never shooting it and just going out and hunting with it the next day. So, you know, you get it on there, shoot it, like I said, 100 times, make sure everything's cinched down, and you should never have to mess with it again. Like I said earlier, when it comes to tuning, it's not as easy to tune as, well, I shouldn't say it's not as easy to tune. If you're trying to make really small adjustments, you know, you need to relieve the pressure off this cord. So just loosen that set screw, let that rest come up. And then, you know, here's your windage set screw right there. And then there's your elevation. But it's really, really easy. You know, if I need to move it a 1/16 of an inch or 32nd of an inch, like you've got those laser engraved marks. So you can just, you know, tap, tap, and then cinch it right back up. So it's maybe takes you, you know, 5 more seconds than it would with the micro adjustable rests. So I'm a really big fan of this rest. Like I said, if you want just kind of a little more bare bones, this is the Hamskea for you. I think after talking to Hamskea, they're actually going to start putting these rebound dampeners on all of their rests versus the spring. You can buy, if you have a rest currently and you want that dampener, you can get just that dampener from them and get rid of the spring. You can just hard mount it straight to the arm there and get rid of the spring. And I'm going to play around with that. I think that I think they're onto something with that rubber instead of having the spring there. I personally have never had an issue with the spring, but I do know people that have, just with it, like, and that's usually because they just keep cinching on that thing. And I mean, obviously spring is going to, you know, keep extending the more you pull on it. So I think they're just putting too much tension on the cord, and over time it'll break it or stretch it or whatever. But like I said, that alleviates that problem. So if you're looking for a great rest, you know, there's less moving parts on this, less things to go wrong. One thing I will say is that you really need to make sure, like after you put it on there, you have to make sure that you cinch down these set screws really tight, because there is no thread on there like on the micro adjust. Like on the micro adjust, you know, I can loosen that thing up and it's not, the rest isn't gonna slide anywhere because it's threaded. Unless I twist that little knob, the rest isn't gonna go anywhere. So as soon, you know, if I notice it's loose and I tighten it back up, it should go right back to the exact same spot. This, if it starts coming loose, you know, especially the vertical one here, it's gonna wanna obviously pull down and down and down and down until, you know, it's pretty much bottomed out and your cord's gonna go slack and your rest won't be dropping all the way. So really make sure you cinch those down tight once you get everything set where you like it. You know, if you have any questions about this, Hamskea is an awesome company. You can call them directly. They're a family-owned company in Colorado. They're a really cool company to deal with. We've been selling their rests now for, I think, 3 years, and it's pretty much exclusively what we recommend now. You know, we used to sell a lot of vapor trail and trophy takers and stuff like that, but just saw too much failure with them, and just stupid little things like little machining parts and, you know, set screws popping out and just little things, and these we've not seen that. So if you have any more questions on this, hit that comment section below or message me on Instagram. I'm really doing my best to get back to everybody that messages me, but I think I've got like 200 messages in my inbox right now, and I try to work through like 40 or 50 a day, but you might get pushed down the list. If you message me and I don't respond right away, it's not because I don't care or I've seen it and just, you know, don't want to respond. Sometimes I'll open one at work and I don't have time to respond, and then once it's red, marked as red, like I'm gonna forget about it because there's 50 of them coming in behind it. So I apologize if you've messaged me in the past and I didn't get right back to you. Don't take it personally. But anyway, if you're looking for a great rest, I highly suggest you check this one out, or any other of the Hamskeas. They're a great product. So thanks for watching, guys. Remember, precision is a decision. Keep them in the middle, and I'll see you on the range.